Good morning. My name is Lisa Dublin. It's actually a wet Saturday morning here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Where are you tuning in from? Let me know. Welcome to This Just Came to Me. This is day 21, you guys. So, you know what? Like, I'm getting there. I'm actually enjoying it too. Like, anything that you fall into a rhythm about, I think becomes more enjoyable. Today, we're going to look at some quotes that mean something to me. I want you to share some of your own quotes as well. And, let's just have fun. As a speaker, and if you are a speaker, you absolutely have to be this kind of person, the person who's always on the lookout for things that people say that make sense. You need to have either on your phone or somewhere, you need to be actually um, like documenting these quotes. And don't be quoting yourself. I see a lot of people doing that, right? Like quoting yourself. No, you do not want to be doing that. That's very tacky. Let other people quote you, okay? Oh, I was thinking about this morning, just getting ready for the stream. Something that people do in interviews that I don't know. I caution against it. Let's say you are famous or you're getting up there and you're being interviewed and the interviewer says, "Okay, so who is Lisa Dublin?" That's my name. Who is Lisa Dublin? Please do not respond with, "Well, Lisa, do not respond in the third person. It's you." Like, just get out of that kind of grandiosity and just respond like it's you. "Well, I am whoever." I see so many people, they'll ask them, like, "Okay, so who is, let's say your name is James Smith. So who is James Smith?" And James Smith will respond, "Well, James Smith is just a regular guy." No, in your head, you're not regular because you're answering and talking about yourself in the third person. Let's not do that this morning. Please don't do it, okay? If you ever get on an interview and the interviewer asks you who you are in the third person, just simply respond in the first person. "I am." It creates a certain amount of humility, and humility always goes down well with every audience, okay? So, just a little tip there. But the general tip about quotes is, if you are a speaker, if you are a leader, someone who perhaps gets on stage all the time or is a role model in society, you have to be quote ready. You have to have quotes at the tip of your tongue. You need to learn them off. You need to be able to embed them in your heart so you can pull them out when needs be. So I thought today, one of the things that I will be doing in my upcoming program, Find Your Fire, is actually providing the students with a quote bank that they're going to start to add into, but it's already pre-filled with lots of quotes that are tagged according to topic. So you don't have to go too far to find a quote that might apply to whatever your topic is. I'm so excited about this program, you guys. It's Find Your, let me just tell you all about it quickly, right? This program that I will be doing, it's called Find Your Fire, and it is meant to take speakers who have perhaps been speaking and never made any money in the business to take you from 0 to 2K in 6 months. So you're going to stay with me for 6 months. It's built around people in the 9 to 5 or for entrepreneurs, people who either have something to say and want to know how to say it, or people who are just natural communicators and figure perhaps, I might be able to turn that gift into income. What I suggest you do, scan that code right here and book a call with me. Okay, let's talk about Find Your Fire. We kick off on August 5th, and I'm super excited. The reason I brought it up at this point, it's because one of the features of my new program is that those who participate, those speakers, they're going to be having a quote bank. Right? We're going to have a vault where you're going to have all the quotes in the world so that you can pull them up. It just enriches a speech, doesn't it? While somebody is speaking and, they just pull out a quote. Like, let me start with my absolute favorite quote of the day. I guess it'll change at some point. And it's a quote on authenticity. You guys, like, I'm serious about this speaking thing, right? By the way, I know I knock. I'm wearing my alma mater t-shirt, sweatshirt today. This is the U of A, University of Alberta, where I did my. I have a master's in English. So that's where I did my second master's at the U of A. On your way to the U of A, I thought I'd wear it this morning. Green is not my favorite color. It's I don't even know. So I was like, you know what? Put on the big gold hoops. Like, just go, just do your thing. But let's go about the quote I was talking about. Okay. And if you're listening, say hi, say hello. Help me make this algorithm jump if you're watching me this morning. If you're watching on the replay as well, just type replay, like, share, subscribe to the Basement Chronicles channel, because that's where all the action is happening. Okay. So I was listening to a podcast from my favorite podcast, which is the S2S podcast with Eric Thomas, CJ Quinney, Carl Phillips, and Jamal King. And I forgot which episode it was now, but CJ, that's Carlos Quinney, he said this. He says, when you see someone who has the it factor, it's usually because they are fully comfortable with who they are. Now, of course, I'm sure that, there's a transcription of that podcast somewhere. But hi, Heidi. Hi, how you doing? Good morning. Good morning to you. But here's the thing. It struck me so deeply that I took pen and paper and replayed the podcast, stopped, transcribed it for my own self, and I learned it off. When you hear things that just tug at your heart. Are you hearing me okay, Heidi? Is it making sense? I hope my mic is going okay. Let me know. Right? When you see someone who has the it factor, it's usually because they are fully comfortable with who they are. I absolutely love that quote. It encompasses, embodies so much of like what I believe about authenticity. At least for me, I don't know if it strikes you the same way, but I learned it off and I can rattle it off because like this is my business. This is what I do. Speakers are into words. And so you want to be able to enrich your speech by pulling in quotes and, okay, thank you. Hey, Violet, how you doing? Thank you so much for saying the sound is okay. You want to be able to enrich your speeches or just delivery with pulling in quotes from this person and that person. It's an exciting life to be a speaker, you guys. I'm telling you. So there's so much to it. So I thought this morning I'd ask you to share some of your favorite quotes, and I'm going to go ahead and share some of mine. So I have a couple here I've been collecting over the years, especially since I started the Find Your Fire program, preparing for the students. I've been really gathering all the quotes that I can. Okay. So here's someone else who said this. Let me see. Where is the one that I want to? Oh, yes. Here's another one that strikes me so deeply. Anything that is not from the depth of you will not reach the depth in other people. When I talk about having a visceral topic as a speaker, and forgive me if like my mind is so focused on, just speaking and all of the things, right? You put it in your own milieu, your own industry as I speak, because I always want to answer the question every time I come on here and go live, what's in it for you? If you can answer that question for yourself when you hear me speak, then you're going to continue listening to me because it won't be about me. It's about you getting filled and you being able to translate what I say into something that you can use because you're the most important person here for yourself, right? But here's what this is from Nikki Gumbel. So I do a Bible reading on the Bible app, and this one is very good. It's the Bible in 1 year, and the author is Nicky Gumbel, and I think he's well known in the UK in particular as an evangelist. They have this big organization and that kind of thing. He said this again: anything that is not from the depth of you will not reach the depth in other people. My goodness, does that not speak about a deep authenticity? Oh my gosh, I love that quote. And even in guiding speakers as to, I know I can speak, I can communicate well, but what will I speak about? The first question I ask is, what's within there? What is tugging at your heartstrings? What if you had 10 minutes to say anything and change the world? What within you is so visceral and so felt that is what you would communicate? That is the thing that is from the depth of you. And believe you me, it will reach the depth in other people. When you speak from that deep authenticity, from knowing that you know that you know that you believe, yeah. Like I have a, oh, should I even say this? Yes. I have a client who is in tourism, and it's the way she said something one time. It's, you can tell when something comes from the depth in other people. She said, "We all share a common Caribbean sea." Y'all, like, think about it. If you're from the Caribbean, does that strike you? We all share a common Caribbean sea. I don't know that she can ever live that down in a great way, because I keep on reminding her about it, because it really is a philosophy and an overarching way of seeing the world. And it just makes a lot of sense, right? So anything that's not from the depth of you will not reach the depth in other people. Here's another one. This one is attributed to John Wesley. And he said this, set yourself on fire with passion, and people will come for miles to watch you burn. Now, I know he was not talking about killing yourself, okay? But it speaks about just being so impassioned, or impassioned is the word. Like it's something that comes from within, right? And it just spreads out into the world. Like people don't even know why they are coming to you, but it's because you feel it so viscerally. I've got my first quote from Heidi. Hey, Heidi. Heidi says this: a leader draws people with them. I love that quote as well. It's very good, isn't it? Now, when you think of draw, draws people with them. Is it to them or with them? As in brings people along with them, Heidi? That's what it means, right? And obviously, John Maxwell is such a great leader and thought leader in leadership. It makes sense that it comes from him, that he would say something like that. But think about it. A leader draws people with them. In other words, there's that sense of something we teach in Speak with Confidence, enticement. When you feel something so deeply, you entice people to come along. You're not like waving a flag, a placard. I'm here. I'm the boss. Look at me. No, that thing is, there's a word called immanent. Immanent. And it means something that comes from within, your essence from within. When you feel something and you are something, it's almost like a glow. It's almost like, I know in other new age people talk about aura or whatever, but it does come, it's an energy that comes from within and it spreads out, like you glowing from within, if that makes any sense, right? So I love that quote, Heidi. Keep them coming. Violet, what about you? Where are your quotes? Write something, girl. Here's another one that especially I keep hearing it quite a lot, and it makes sense, just for our world today. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Does that make sense? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. My advice to speakers: learn these quotes. Take 10 minutes a day. Because if this is the craft and the profession in which you want to find yourself, do the extraordinary. While other people are reading from their papers, whatever, just learn of those quotes, that so you can pull them out of your back pocket, I like to call it. Pull them out of your back pocket and just say them at the drop of a thought. When they make sense, you can pull them out because they're part of you. Oh my goodness, you guys. I just love words, don't you? And if you don't love words, you can learn too. You can use the screens, you can use teleprompters. There are all sorts of helps if you're not naturally that way, to still make you come out as a speaker who has layers, as a speaker who takes people into places that they were not before you started speaking. That's the hope and that's the dream. That's the goal, to be transformative with the things that you say. So where do you get quotes from? Oh, Violet has a quote from Maya Angelou. When people show you who they are, oh my goodness, believe them. I added the oh my goodness part because I knew what was coming. When people show you who they are, believe them. There's a verse in the Bible that's related to that one. It says, now this one speaks about saying to the husband, dwell with your wife according to knowledge, according to who she is. Like for me, I feel like that should be taken as a general statement that applies, wisely applies to how we deal with people. And it's related to this quote that Violet has just nicely provided us. Thank you so much, from Maya Angelou. And this quote is like, dwell with people according to knowledge. In other words, when you show me who you are, I need to believe you enough to act upon it. So my Trinidadian friends will know this quote is from the culture. It says, that's where I stop. When people show you how far they can go or how far they will go, or they show you what the limits are, that they won't go the distance, believe them. And then the next step is to not override that belief by acting in dissonance to that. If you show me that you perhaps, like a very classic example I always tell, perhaps like sometimes a lot of the people I coach, they are, quite, um, well, how should I say it? They've done well. Okay. And so because of that, when you are successful, obviously people, we know that you are open to a lot of ire. People envy you, get very jealous, and so on. So I remember, like, Oprah had said this, and it applies to my clients and all of us, right? That you, if you are this kind of person, you can't be friends with somebody who's jealous of you. You just can't. If somebody shows you that it's difficult for them to swallow your success, like it's like Buckley's to them, believe them, go your way. A lot of us, we see it and then we forget who they are, and then we come back still gushing over our own successes, and you get a stony face, and then you get criticism, and you get like ghosting for a couple days while they process your success. Oh my gosh, that's a little quote right there. Process your success. Right? All of the things. And you never stop to realize, wait a minute, I am not acting with this person according to knowledge. I am not believing them because they have shown me who they are. I love that quote. You see how when we deal in those wise sayings, aphorisms, quotes, proverbs, all of the things, do you see how it can actually give you guidance for life? It can correct a course. It can show you a different way of thinking and being. It can guide you in a troublesome relationship or bring the right one to you. All of the things. That's why one of my favorite books in the Bible is Proverbs. Like, there's a prayer that I pray regularly, daily, and it is for wisdom. And there's a verse in the Bible that says that, and God gave Solomon wisdom and breadth of mind like the sand of the seashore, so that Solomon's wisdom surpassed the wisdom of all the people of the east, and the wisdom of all of Egypt. Can you imagine this? No, was it that kind of be Solomon? I forgot who it was. But sorry, you guys. I so don't know who it is because I just insert my name in the verse. That's how come I forgot who it related to, right? I apologize. But you get the gist of it, as in, when you pray for wisdom, I think then you have a penchant for the wise things. They come to you. Okay. Here's another quote attributed to Will Rogers. Don't let yesterday take up too much of today, as in, live in the now. You guys have any more quotes that we can share? Come on, keep them coming. I've got like a whole list, but I'd love to have the variety of my audience chiming in. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Um, so let me see another one. If you, okay, we said that one. Oh yeah, so another place that, yes, it's Solomon. It is valid. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so it was Solomon. I wasn't too far. I wasn't wrong. Thank you. So where else can you get quotes? There are famous people from your own self as well, but just don't be the one quoting you. Okay. For example, one of the quotes from me that I am very proud of, it's not even a quote really, it was just insight into the pandemic. Something in me clicked when we were sent home. I realized like we were in some kind of moment. I didn't know what it was, but I did sense that it was going to be consequential. And I kept on, that's when I really started coming out online. Yes, Violet, I'm coming to that one. Actually, this is from Tony Robbins, through Eric Thomas, through Lisa Dublin. So that one. So here's the thing. I used to say this. No, seriously. This is the quote. No, seriously. Opportunity is staring you in the face. I kept on like posting that, saying it to myself because I was living it in the at the time, seizing the opportunity to be home in lockdown, to kind of craft the life that I wanted. I kept on posting that. No, seriously, opportunity is staring you in the face. You know what? Let me just get mine out of the way. Another one that I say is focus your focus on your focus. Think about it. Focus, the verb, your focus, the noun on your focus. In other words, your goal. In other words, just be laser clear and just locked in on what you're supposed to do. So Violet says this quote is from me, where your focus goes, your energy flows. And I got that from Eric Thomas. Again, a great speaker who does the same quoting thing, always has a quote that makes sense and drops it when, it's most impactful in his speech. So be that kind of person. If you ever like be getting up to speak and so on, just have the quotes handy. They do make sense. So here's a quote from Mike Tyson. And I love when the greats pull the curtains back and show us what their mindset is. Don't you? Because then you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I always say, if I know what you did to get to where you are, then if I want what you have, it's very simple. I just need to do what you did to get to where I want to get, which is where you are. Does that make sense? Somewhere in there, I think it did. But here's the quote from Mike Tyson. You have to train your mind to be stronger than your feelings, or else you will lose yourself. You have to train your mind to be stronger than your feelings, or else you will lose yourself. Y'all, my quote bank is really a labor of love. And like it's journeying with me. I want to suggest to you that if you want to speak at any level, start to journey with your life by journaling, by picking things from wherever you're exposed to people and events and so on. You pull quotes from everywhere, every sphere of your life, every intersection, pull the quotes from there. And soon you'll find that you have an eclectic collection of things that you see, like I'm drawing from the Bible, I'm drawing from speaking. Here's this other one that I came across. I was in a coaching mastermind and I heard another coach say this. She said, be the Buddha in the middle of the city. Think about it. You know this image of Buddha that is like cross-legged in the middle of a city, a busy like New York City or Times Square, in London, whatever. Think about it. If you are the Buddha, that quiet, calm, authoritative image in the city, it's saying to you, no matter if there's chaos around, be calm, take control, and do it with a certain peace within you that perhaps makes you impregnable to what is happening. Here's the other thing about the image. Think about if you were in the middle of New York City and you just saw a Buddha right there. Wouldn't it strike you as extraordinary? Would you not stop to think and to look? If you are the Buddha in the city, it speaks about being different. In a crisis where everybody's losing their head and their reason, you be that person who's the anchor, and it's a concept that I always share, especially with managers. Be the Buddha in the city. Be the person who sets the tone. You have to be the thermostat. You have to set the temperature and be the calm so that everybody around you is drawn to that peace and is able to now find their way, in a measured and logical way instead of being running around like a headless chicken. Are we having fun this morning? You see how quotes can just lighten the mood and, Violet, you need to come on live with me before I end this 31-day challenge. Like I'm going to text you. You need to come on live with me one of these mornings. I need to kind of, I need to kind of like bring people in, have a little more variety. Okay. So here's something I heard. Another source of quotes is from people in the media. I listen to news a lot, particularly, a lot of Canadian news right now. That's where I live. This is my home. And I love CBC. They're always dropping quotes on CBC radio and TV. Okay. It's a whole network. And I heard a reporter on CBC say this: there are no facts in the future. Think about it, especially for those people who worry. So I take the quotes and then I relate them to my life and to other people's situations. So when you come all worried about the future, when you are depressed about what has not happened, like how real is that? When you have a quote like this that is clearly true, there are no facts in the future because it hasn't happened. And sometimes the pithy sayings like this, they don't just lighten the mood. They give you another way of saying things to clients or to people that are not offensive, that are witty, that make you think outside of the box. So somebody comes, I don't know what the future, I'm depressed, I'm immobile, I feel like I'm stuck because I'm afraid of the future. Which future? The one where there are no facts, that nothing has been declared and decided, the one that you still have a choice to create and to fashion in the way you want it to, because there are no facts in the future. You can't reach into the future and say, hey, this is going to happen. No, nothing is promised. Nothing is real until it actually happens. So you still have a choice in today to kind of take your will and to make something different. See how that works? All right. So here's another one. Comparison is the thief of joy. Y'all, isn't that true? Like, I always like this one because I'm always curious. Why would we want to be somebody else? Do you know what it takes to be somebody else? Does that even fit? You might be like David in a Goliath kind of armor and be like, it's not even good on you. Why would we want to be somebody else? Because we want parts of people's lives. So we are very selective when we say we want to be other people. This thing about comparison. You compare yourself to other people, not realizing it is always a question of comparing apples and oranges. You know why? Even though for example, let's say you are in a class with someone and you are getting different results. But it's not just the actions the person is taking as opposed to what you are doing. It's who the person is, what is going on in their life at the moment, how they have applied things, what is going on in your life. You're comparing apples and oranges. Why should we do that? It's very true that comparison is the thief of joy. So you want to be joyful? Stay in your lane. Does that make sense? Okay. Your head is beautiful one. I am not even sure where I came across this quote, but it is absolutely philosophical and all of the things. Hear this. We cannot control the beauty of our face, but we can control the expression of it. What? Oh, can I say that again for the people in the back? Right? So, Violet, you have another one. I'm coming to it, right? We cannot control the beauty of our face, but we can control the expression of it. Hmm? Somebody who's not traditionally beautiful, but the soul just emanates from them and it does something to make an otherwise unpleasant looking face just absolutely attractive. How? Right? So Violet has a funny one. Common sense is not common. Yes. No, it's not. Common sense is definitely not common. And the best quotes always have like play on words, that kind of thing, right? It's very true. So let's make sure in that sense we want to be common and have the common sense, right? And so another one says, they have this other one. I find when you look at the quotes that you like, aren't you going to see who you are? You guys realize a lot of my quotes are about authenticity. The ones that resonate with me reflect me. You're going to find the same thing with you. If you are like deeply into politics, whatever, you'll go for the quotes about nation building and this and that and whatever. Just watch yourself go through the process of looking for quotes and being attracted to what you're attracted to. Here, this other one says, the river does not argue with the rocks, it flows around it. Now, can you imagine dropping that in the middle of a speech? Huh, man, that takes you from, oh, that's like caviar, right? It says, The river does not argue with the rocks, it flows around it. And you know, you have to say it with the pause in between because all the world's a stage and all the men and women, many players, the speakers too, they are players on this stage. Okay? Says, the river does not argue with the rocks, pause. It flows around it. Now, learn that quote. That's a quote that can be learned. It is short. So it means like you have to become the speaker who gets past the nerves of just being on stage to be the one who looks like delivering a speech like you do baking a cake. And you know, well, at least that's my analogy. I have to bake a cake this weekend for a kid for my son's birthday. Yeah, yeah. That it's all going down this weekend. Okay, fondant and all right. Yes, it's very powerful, Heidi. Let's say it again. The river does not argue with the rocks; it flows around it. And do you know by flowing around it, it actually shapes the rocks itself? So, how are we handling the obstacles? And how are we flowing with life? It's very powerful. I really, really like it. So here's another one. It's a little funny, but it is from Winston Churchill. Let me see. It's an excerpt from his address to Harrow School in 1941. So sometimes great people get away with saying very simple, simplistic things. That's what happens. It comes with the territory. And everybody's clapping like, oh my gosh, you said something so deep. Whereas if it was me who said it, everybody be like, okay, why did I hire you? Are you that speaker they said you are? What is this? Right? He says this. Winston Churchill said this. Okay, I'm saying verbatim. I took the quote from, I forgot where it was, but I found the quote and I hopped onto it. So you're taking notes, Heidi? That's awesome. Good. So make sure you watch this again. You guys don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. If you can go to wherever you're watching me from. Heidi, I know you're on LinkedIn and I love you here, but don't forget to subscribe on my YouTube channel. Thank you. Here's the quote from Winston Churchill. Never give in. What is it? 32 minutes already? Oh my goodness. Okay, so we'll just do one more. Never give in, never give in, never, 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 never. In nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense. Never yield to force. Never yield to the apparently overwhelming might of the enemy. And then the great man sat down. You know what's good in that quote? It's is you see how relentless it is? Never, never, never. The repetition does something to your spirit. It takes you to a crescendo. And by the time he's done, although I find the ending was a little anticlimactic, like, man, just end on never yield to force, never. But you have to go on, never yield to the apparently overwhelming might of the enemy, whatever. But that was one quote that I found it was a great quote because of who said it, I think, perhaps more than what exactly it said. Okay, you guys, I've thoroughly enjoyed this time with you this morning. I hope you did too. I hope you know those quotes inspired you. In the same way, there are quotes that are inspiring. You know, there are quotes that are very depressing as well. And some people will naturally be drawn to those as well. Let's not kid ourselves that all quotes are inspiring. Some people say a lot of doom and gloom, and it does get picked up because there are people of that bent, and that's just who they are. It's not, I don't know, right or wrong. I think it's what your state of mind is, what you can handle, what you're dealing with, all of the things. Oh, I think I want to do this very last quote. I heard it not too long ago from my feisty kind of mentor from afar, Tiffany Montgomery. I had to put her in there. It's something she's like in the thick of battle right now, I guess. But she said something. I think it was at her Covered by God event, the last one. She said this: words are weapons, words are spirits, words are swords, words are seeds, words are arrows, words are not innocent. Okay, you heard that? Like, that's it. Words are weapons, words are spirits, words are swords, words are seeds, words are arrows, words are not innocent. And on that note, thank you, Heidi. Says she enjoyed this session. Thank you for saying that. And Violet says, Yes, I'm going to start building up my repertoire of quotes. Good. Awesome. Because you're going to be speaking, right? All right, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow, same time. I'll get my live in before I go running, I think. So I'll be here same time tomorrow for day 22 of This Just Came to Me. Have a wonderful day, everybody. See